You sure look pretty in those wedding pictures. Pretty dress.
You know, Jim's wife is not saying a word, and I don't know why.
Margaret can usually talk pretty good.
Speechless. Speechless, huh?
But no, you're not supposed to be looking at the camera, though. You're supposed to be talking to everybody else.
That guy
It's
right
really
next to
funny.
with the mustache.
I really don't expect the
I might
performance.
say something.
Just start talking
Well,
about your dog.
Viva did.
Should I tell them about Annie?
The
orphan Annie?
I didn't know you had that on then. I thought you was going to get ready.
I named
She
her
was
Annie
really
because she
putting
was an
on.
orphan.
Oh, way.
It's your mother-in-law. She's looking
Oh,
real pretty
oh,
right now.
oh.
Come on,
I
you.
already had it.
Now, Wayne, you got me
No,
out.
I don't want you looking at me.
Well, I was just telling you, you got me out the car, I hear.
You're right.
About
It's on
you know
film.
what?
I have Linda in the bathtub.
You do?
You gotta see it. Yeah, I'll show it to you afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I mean, we'll get to see everyone.
I want to see Linda in the bathtub.
That's the only way I'll be able to get an audience. Actually, I really didn't get her, but anyway.
You can have lots of fun with that thing. Catch people off guard.
They can get it.
Shall I?
4, 5, 6, can't count to 7.
Now in Russia, that's real serious, but here, I don't know.
Now what do we do?
Play your biggest double.
Play your biggest double.
Biggest
I want to make sure you guys are honest about this game.
Yeah. Talk a little louder, fellas.
Yeah, they're around.
1, 2, that's a blank. That's
We got double like yours.
okay. Play the biggest? Go ahead, you play first. I don't have any big doubles.
Well, you got double 4 there.
Okay.
Okay.
3, 2.
I'm trying to that away, Junior.
Okay.
You can tell these guys have been on television before. They know exactly what to do.
They know exactly what to do. Talk loud and everything.
There you are.
Yeah, isn't it?
Better.
Oh, golly.
You
Yeah.
can go to the boneyard.
No, got you.
Go to the boneyard. I love it.
Yeah, that's what I got to do. Boy.
I hope he gets some more of them. though.
Okay, there.
When he gets excited.
Yeah,
It's
right,
great.
right,
Now,
right.
okay, you.
I made 5.
It's funny. I've never seen such chest shots that Joe can get.
Oh, golly, you shouldn't have got that. One on one there.
The boneyard.
Oh,
Boom.
golly. Can I go off this way?
No.
Huh?
You got to play on that one or that one or that one.
Oh, well, then I'll play on this one.
Huh?
Oh, that one there.
Did I leave?
2.
He's holding the lights.
I done that yesterday.
Didn't have them before.
Well, you powdered her.
I tell you how to kill fleas. Best way in the world. Lay them down on the mandible and hit it real hard with a hammer. Best way in the world to get killed.
Braces.
The thing is, Gerald,
More around today.
you're going to have to speak up.
Hey,
You're going to have to speak up louder.
Oh.
I mean, like at the house.
No, I think we put the woven water around instead of.
That's what I
Gotcha.
That's what I told Joe.
He wants to teach us how to make fence tomorrow.
How to make sense? Oh,
Well,
fence,
then we can
fence.
run a short
I thought you meant
line
how to
down
make
the
sense, and that might even be
That's our job.
just as well.
I'll need less than
Got a
that.
lot of work to do. Got a lot of work to do tomorrow.
Daryl, that's great.
The best part is my coffee jar milk.
Hey, Mike. Come here a minute.
I can go in there and get him. I'll come in there. Don't worry.
Father?
Mike, come on in here and eat.
Hey, I'll come in there. That's okay.
Somebody asked
I'll get
Gerald
it.
for some questions so he can get.
I got 14 shots. Then I got a shot at a buck, but I missed it.
I want one in the freezer so when the baby's born I can come and have it here.
Camera?
No, deer.
I can freeze a camera. I don't know so much about a deer. I may not be able to get one of them to the freezer.
Yeah, the funny thing is, ordinarily you get the camera on and Pete goes like a real ham as such. You ever listen to him? And he quietened up right now.
Talk to the camera there.
Why? The camera can't hear anyhow.
That camera can hear. You can talk. You can say anything you want to. It doesn't even bleep you.
Doesn't beat for more than you told me.
The only way you can tell if the camera's working,
Very good, yeah. Yeah, they had it on TV in there.
the only way you can tell if the camera's working is by the blinking light. Do you see a blinking light?
I haven't seen a blinking light yet.
It must not be working then.
No, it must not be working.
Right.
That guy at the end of the camera is working though, I know that.
You've seen it, haven't you?
This is the Robard family. My father's mother is here. Her name is Catherine Eliza Robards. And this is I can't see. This is the grandfather to my dad, and this is the grandmother to my dad, and the rest is uncles and aunts. But it is the Robard family.
Who are you?
And I'm a daughter I'm a granddaughter to Catherine Eliza Robard.
She's Irita Catherine.
I'm Irita Catherine. I'm named for her. So this Catherine Eliza Robards married Hiram Roderick, and they had my Uncle George and Aunt Alice were twins. Then they had Leonard Wheeler, which was my father, and then they had Ethel. When my father was 9 or 11, I'm not sure, they moved to Missouri. I think it was St. James. And they had lived down here all these years, and after Jim, his son, moved to Mount Vernon, and I had an uncle there, my mother's brother. My father had always wanted to go back to the railroad that he left from and see if he remembered it as he did as a boy. So he told my Uncle Lolan, and he said, okay, we'll go see. They drove down to the railroad station, and a truck was pulling out, and it had the name Poe on it. My father had an aunt who had married a Poe, so he said, Lolan, follow that truck. I want to talk to him. So they did, and when they stopped, he said, my dad said, I had an aunt here that lived here that married a Poe, and her name was Mary, and it was Charlie Poe, which was a cousin of his, and he said, if that's the same Mary Poe, then I know that was my mother. And that happened after all these years of being apart, which I thought was interesting.
Thank you. Very good. Yeah.
James H. Baker, his wife Orinda Baker, who is my grandmother and grandfather on my mother's side. And I'm Irita Catherine Roderick. And my mother was Gracie Arlena Roderick. Baker Roderick. This is Leonard Wheeler Roderick and Gracie Arlena Baker's wedding picture. And he is the son of the Robard family, which we just mentioned, that came from Illinois. And she was born in Brookline in Wright County, and moved to Upton,
Taney County.
Taney County, and oh yes, you're right, Taney County. And when she was just a wee baby, they moved to Upton.
Okay, Leonard Wheeler moved here to Upton, and Gracie Arlene moved here when she was a baby. As they grew up, she was about a teenager, and Dad moved here from Illinois. He says, I'm going to marry that girl. Well, he married her, and he told her he was going to have 12 children, and she didn't believe him until she was in labor the 12th time. So and I'm one of them, Viva. Okay.
Viva what now?
Viva Louisa Roderick Sandquist Harrison. This is Leonard Wheeler Roderick's father. His name is Walter Hiram Roderick, the father of Leonard, George, and Alice. And Ethel. George's twin sister was Alice. Leonard's brother with his first granddaughter, Leetta. Half-brother to Lynn, George, Alice, Ethel, Roderick. His name is Manley Estes. His mother was Catherine Robard. Manley Roderick was named after this Uncle Manley. He had Leonard, Ruby, and Fern were his daughters. His wife was Maud. Louisa Goodwin, it's James Henry Baker's sister. And Viva was named after Aunt Louisa. Where the Indian blood comes in our family from Aunt Liz Mitchell, Grandpa Baker's, James Henry Baker's sister. And we're looking for our Indian rights. We're waiting for a grant. a grant from the government. This is half-sisters to James Henry Baker, as his father got shot by bushwhackers during the, would it be Civil War? And he died, so later she married Ragsdale, and he had these 6 beautiful sisters and 2 handsome brothers, and John Ragsdale.
Roderick with Joe's donkey named Astronaut, and I've been working the garden with him. This is still Nelson. That's a dozer pile that I had with, and I raised 40 big striped squash on it. Squash like this on that dozer pile. Of us cradling wheat back in 1940. And the first one here is Nelson Roderick, Joe Roderick, Lee Roderick, and Gerald Roderick. In 1978, when the snow was deep, I couldn't get around with a pickup or tractor, I put 2 car hoods together and took the shafts out of my wagon and put it in there, and I fed hay to cattle for about 30 days that year, that winter, with a load of hay getting ready to go feed the cattle. Nelson Roderick back in the fall of 1946 when it was up around Tarkio, that's a corn shucking wagon there, that's the team that I used. This is a picture of the Hickory Ridge Church, of the old church. I don't know what year, Arliss Lee had an old picture of it, and we got it and taken this off of it. But I think that there was having the Texas County Baptist Association there at this time. Hickory Ridge Church building now, and we celebrated our centennial in 1983, the 100th year back in 1983. And the sign here, the grandchildren of Leonard and Gracie Roderick give money for the sign and also fans inside the church.
I'm one of the younger ones of the brood that was come along, but this was Mom in her school days. Of course, I wasn't around at that time, but that's her and her school picture.
What school did she go to? Do you know?
I don't know what school she did go to. Does anybody help me out on that? She was raised at Republic.
It tells it right there, doesn't it?
Pleasant Ridge. Did she go to school at Pleasant Ridge? Okay.
that's where we're
She was
there.
raised at Republic, or born at Republic.
but
Raised here. And, okay, she attended Pleasant Ridge School. This is me right here, right the third one up.
That's Lee Roderick.
That's Lee. And Luella was the baby girl, and Tom, the baby brother. Of course, I was in the middle of the younger ones, so I had all the problems. Then Gerald was next.